Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Monday afternoon, evening edition. And Bitcoin is hanging around 35K, trying to push through and close above 35K. And the market has overall been up today. Let's go to the charts. Okay, should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart. I will assume you are. Okay, if you're not, let me know. So this is the zone I've drawn for the top of the range, right at 35K. And we've had a few attempts to break through. We did close slightly above it on Saturday, but that didn't hold, dipped below on Sunday. It looks like we might, I don't know, we're right there at 35,094. So that's the first step is closing, you know, several day charts over 35K and higher to push up to the next level. But on the plus side, we are staying down. We are staying up here. We're not getting rejected harshly down back towards, this range here, say down to 30K, which is probably like a psychological support area, and then 25, which has been support many times in this calendar year. So pretty good day for Bitcoin so far, mostly gone sideways. Ethereum up a little bit more, has broken through the top of the zone here at 19K. I think I had this at 1890, give or take. So if this breaks through, there's not much in the way of stopping it going to $2,000. So, and then our next accomplishment would be here, probably around 2150, 2140, something like that we had back in April. So, news-wise, my usual sorts didn't bring up anything too earth-shattering. So there's still a lot of Bitcoin ETF, opportunity, people hoping that's going to happen. And more retail buyers seem to be getting back. They're hearing the good news about a Bitcoin and they want to FOMO back in, not on a huge scale, but when the gates start flooding with retail buyers, that's usually a good sign of a bull market. I don't think we're quite there yet, but we're pretty close. Any questions or comments about the markets overall before we go to Altcoin Alert? Look for some day trades. Very well. And I've got people on this call with experience ranges all over the place. So I will try to look at least one coin for each of those. And if you have a question, please speak up. Okay. Marshall sent me a couple messages. No microphone yet, but he's optimistic. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Optimistic. We're optimistic we're going to break 35K. Keep going. Okay, I am on the altcoin alert, altcoin radar setting. Usually defaults to dashboard, but that's not what I like. I like this one here. Shows me all the columns. I'm going to refresh and then sort by AA score. Looking for values above 80 or pretty close to it. And we've got Elrond, EGLD, here at 85. And this is one of the few that have been beaten down today, down about 7%. Altcoin Alert says there's a 85% chance that this coin will go up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. So let's look at that chart and see where it's going. I had it up earlier. I guess I looked at something else. EGLD. Here we go. Start the 5-minute chart. Whatever. And you'll notice I've got a new indicator here, the TTM squeeze. It's a momentum indicator. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use it. Probably as confirmation, but I'll get back to it in a little bit. So at the moment, On the 5-minute chart, it's just kind of going sideways. It's between the SMA line and the top of the Bollinger Band, not where I want to get in. We're not resembling a squeeze or a 1, 2, 3 dip. Something like this would be more what I'm looking for. But that's from last night. That doesn't help us now. If you want to set a price alert, wait for this to retrace down here to support area, this green zone. And I'm using the supply and demand visible range by LuxAlgo for these red and green, supply and demand is similar to support and resistance. So I've been using this for about 6 weeks now. I like it a lot. So if you want to do a price alert, you can just see where these have touched down and then go over here to the side, right click, add an alert. And I don't know, 43.90, 43.95. I like to use the information source as the alert name. So AA score. And if you put something in TradingView enough times, it will remember it. AA score purchase. Notifications. I'm going to notify in my app, which will be on my phone. Show a pop-up on my computer screen and play a sound. And you might want to test out a few sounds. I kind of like this 3 notes reverb, and then click create. But I'm not going to do that because I prefer alerts on the 15-minute chart, on the indicators. So what I've been using lately is this RTI, but it's kind of frustrating today because I can show you better on a different coin, but it was just kind of hanging around the bottom area or the top area, alerts going off with nothing to verify or nothing to confirm. I'll show you an example a little later, but on the RTI, there's a few options I like on this. If it dips below the 20 with some force, then I'll go short. I'm just looking for a 1% move on the chart. I'm trading on leverage with 10% or 10x, so that's a 10% move for me. I like that. If it breaks back up above the 20, that's usually a dip and a retrace coming back up from a dip. So that's another opportunity to get in. And then if I get a break above the 80 with force, that can be a good entry on the long side. If you're trading spot, that's the kind of thing you want to look for. And then another option is if it dips below this 20 and comes back, that can be a good entry as well. So you can catch 1, 2, 3 dips with this approach. Okay. So how do we set up for that? How do we look for those type of entries? I'm gonna set an alert on the RTI. Just click in this area anywhere. Add an alert on the RTI. And for the break above the 80 and break below the 20, we're going to be exiting a channel. We'll put 80 here, 20 here. I go once per bar close, so that'll stay on as long as until I turn it off. Again, that's AA score purchase. And let's go with 3 notes reverb on that one, and I'll create it. Now, if I want to catch a dip or a pump, add an alert on the RTI. I'm going to be entering a channel. 80 and 20, once per bar close, and AA score purchase. And these others it'll remember what you did last time. So there's my alert there. And the idea is to catch this move up, get in on that move. Kind of hard to see. Then when it dips down below here, which occurs right about here, get in on that shorter move, and that takes longer. So I get good entries on shorts and good entries on longs using this approach. And then when my alert goes off, I'm going to look at the cumulative delta, which I'm using for confirmation. And let's say this crosses right above. Get this out. Show a horizontal line because some of these are hard to see. So we get a break above the 80 here. And the cumulative delta mostly goes sideways until we get this big pump here. So I may not get in right away. I may wait till I see that and then get in. And that would be a good entry on a spot trade. So let's see, you got 3 questions in the chat. Okay, Marshall saying I got an alert from Palm Beach. Not sure what Palm Beach, the city in Florida. They day trade over there. Maybe that's their Conan predictor says buy. Well, I'd want to know what their predictor is based on. Doge is a meme coin, doesn't really do much as far as I know, other than Elon Musk likes it. So if the technical setup says it's a good buy, I might get in. But I don't just rely on what other people say. I want to look at the charts myself and make a determination. Oliver would like to learn. Okay, he sent me a direct message, so I'll get back to that. Okay, he doesn't know anything about Conan or the Palm Beach. Now I'm getting different reviews of the Palm Beach group. So yeah. Look, there's a lot of crypto talking heads out there, and some are good. I talked about, I subscribe to Crypto Man Ran and Sheldon the Sniper and some of those people that do overall crypto information that can be useful. I look at it every morning. If it's something really important, I might bring it up here on my show. And so there's some value in gathering that, but you got to do your own research, look at the charts. If you want to trade on news, that's fine. Usually by the time we get the news, it's too late, but yeah, the technicals usually won't let you down unless there's some unanticipated whale activity or some news event that nobody can control. Okay. Any questions on this before we look for another coin? Thanks, Marshall. He says crypto is my go-to, and now me, and iCoinPro, which we're going to talk about shortly. Okay, so we looked at an AA score. Social activity is another sort I like. Long-term sentiment as well. 1 hour projected range. I haven't used this much. If I get a value, say 3% or higher in this, then I might look at it, but I don't have any of those right now. So let's go to long-term sentiment. That's one I did this morning. Zilliqua, up 3% today, has bullish on both the sentiment and the Elder Impulse, which is a technical indicator. Quite a few coins have good matches here. YGG, something I trade sometimes. Sushi, yeah, a lot of GRT. So a lot of these coins had good days today. Zill's only up 3%, so it may have some room to grow. Let's check it out. Okay, 5-minute chart. And again, it's sitting between the SMA line and the top of the Bollinger Band, so we don't have a dip entry at the moment. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. And pumping pretty hard here. So this is the opposite of what we just looked at Elrond. For Elrond, Zilliqua is above the 80 value, possibly about to dip down. It's in the red zone here. That usually means it could break through, or it could retrace. So let's see. So for our alerts on the RTI, if you want to look for something that's going to break out either to the upside or the downside, we're going to exit a channel. That's going to be our 80-20. Once per bar close, and this was long-term sentiment. And probably just leave the notifications the same and click create, and you're good to go on that one. If you also want to catch retraces, you know, the 1, 2, 3 dip alert would be more like the entering a channel. So I'll show you that on the chart. 80-20 on entering a channel, once per bar close, and I usually go with 1, 2, 3 dip pump on that one. Click create, and you're good to go. So in this scenario, we want it to dip below the 20, then come back. See how that, when that happened, and it crossed here on the way up, you know, we caught a really nice, we catch a really nice move going up. And when it broke through on the, I don't know if it has broke through yet. This is what I was talking about. I had alerts set on 80-20, and they would ping off and then not do anything. So that happens sometimes. Or they'd go against me. But when this alert went off, I don't think I was trading yet. Like this one's kind of a fake out here. It dips below the 80. Got 3 candles here on the cumulative delta telling us that the trend might be forming. Then it bounces back up, fakes us out. So that does happen sometimes. But as you can see on the long side, and we are more bullish than we were, you know, say a couple months ago. So when it does do this dip, it tends to come back. You can get some of these nicer moves. So that'll be the 80-20. That'll be entering a channel. So it breaks through and then comes back in the channel, and that's when you want to get in. Any questions on Zilliqua? Okay, let's look at one more sort on Altcoin Alert.
I have a quick dumb question. How are
No
you
dumb
setting?
questions.
Are you just right clicking to get to where you set the alert?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you can right click anywhere in this RTI if you want to set an alert here. If you want to set a confirmation alert on the delta, you click in here and it'll tell you, you know, where you are. Then you just change the value.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so on Altcoin Alert, we have looked at long-term sentiment, AA score. Let's go with social activity. And we'll look at this, we'll look at a long here at something that we can trade on spot. Or yeah, I don't know that one. Pre-search. 1%. YGG, a little crazy today. XVS, I've traded that before. GRT, these might be played out. So ILV, kind of like that one. Let's look at ILV. All right, we'll look at a Coinbase chart. And we'll look at this strictly as a spot trade on the 5-minute chart, and it's dipped below. We did have a dip a little while ago, but it never bubbled out. So let's see if I can find an example of a good dip trade here. Well, I'm not seeing one, so We'll go back to our price alert option right here in the green zone around 63.80 would be a good entry. You can right click anywhere on the chart, accept an indicator, and it'll give you this, that's the wrong one. Add an alert, 63.20, and call it what you want. And when it hits 63.20, reevaluate. Or it may not hit it. It may just keep pumping up forever. You don't know. That's the downside of trying to catch these dips. So, okay, on the indicator, 15-minute chart, we're going to look for something like this. See how it dipped below the 20, and then it came back, and it made a nice move up. Get my horizontal line here. So it breaks through right about here. Got several green candles here on the cumulative delta, but they're not very big, so that's kind of iffy at that moment. But there's a nice move up, 6%. That's a great day trade. So that would have been a good entry. That's about the only one I see. You know, looking for dip trades can mean you don't trade that much. If you're following 4, 5, 6 coins a day, you might only get, 1 to 3 trades a day. So now that the market is showing more signs of life on the long side, another option I've been using is something that breaks above the 80 with force. And I'm going to show you an example of that. So we break above the 80. My computer's not right here. And we've got 4 out of 5 candles breaking up. That would have been sufficient confirmation for me. So get in, catch the ride. That goes up and stays up for a while. This is at 7:30 in the morning on Friday, so I'm usually at my desk by then. And a spot trade, I probably would have gone. Not sure what I would have done on my. I would have looked for some retrace options on a longer time chart. This is the 15. Maybe look at the hour. And it's like, when was the last time it was up here? There's some resistance here at around $52. Or maybe you just watch it. You just check it out every 15, 30 minutes if you're able to do that and catch this big move all the way up. So that would have been pretty sweet. And you get a great entry off that break above the 80. So this is what I call a trend trade. It's trending up, so you catch that trend. And then what I showed you before, where it dips below and comes up, that's a dip trade. So, any questions on ILV? Okay, any questions on Altcoin Alert before we head over to iCoinPro? Okay, let's see what iCoinPro has. Take a quick look at the fear and greed index. Ooh, we're in greedy area now. So when we get to extreme greed, that's when the bottom can fall out. So that's when the retail buyers all FOMO in, and then the whales like to pull the rug and sell. Okay, so we're on the Buddy Coin Crawler. Let's start with RSI SPY. And this tool is going to help me find coins I prefer those that are oversold and below 30 to get some of those dip trades, especially if you're a spot trader. But since the market's been pumping pretty well today, we don't have any of those. There's nothing below the 30 on the 1 hour. So you can go the opposite way. look for something that's been pumping and is due to pull back. So you can sort it, and it'll flag anything over the 70, which is considered overbought. So regarding those, we've got the graph, GRT. There's a lot of Bitcoin pairs in here. I don't trade those, but if you want to trade those, you can. It's got this drop-down menu. Click on Trading View, and it'll give you a 5-minute chart of your most recent layout. Takes a moment to load. And we're on GRT. It looks a lot like the chart we just looked at. We're at the top of the zone, top of the Bollinger Band. Let's see. Oliver asked, what are the big white lines on the cumulative delta? That's it. That's the end of the day, the end of the trading day. So I had to ask that too. Frank told me that last week. So all right, on the 5, yeah, I'm not seeing a good entry. You can put a price alert down here in the green zone, and you guys know how to do that at this point. So I will head over to the 15-minute. Let's look at our indicators, and we're in the top of the zone there as well. So on the RTI, we're above the 80 at the moment. So I'd be looking for dips below the 80 with force to short, or maybe a dip and a return above the 80. So again, how you do those alerts. For the break above the 80 and the dip below the 20, that's going to be exiting the channel. And we define the channel with 80 on the top, 20 on the bottom, once per bar close. And this is RSI SPY. Notifications are the same. So click create, and there we go. And then for the dip trades, we're going to enter a channel. Entering the channel, 80, 20, 2, 3 dip pump. Sometimes I change that to, let's say, chirpy. And there we go. So when those conditions happen, they happen tonight before I go to bed. I'll be good to go on that trade if I like what I see. If I get confirmation on cumulative delta, and I'll probably check out this TTM squeeze as well to see if I'm going to use that for confirmation. So, okay, any questions on GRT? All right, let's look at one more tool on iCoinPro. And instead of RSI SPY, we're going to look at the Buddy coin crawler. Buddy, and just a refresher in iCoinPro, Buddy coins are the coins that you follow that day. For me, it's usually 6. I choose 2 with Altcoin Alert, 2 with iCoinPro, and then 2 by just sorting my list, and then do the alerts that you just saw, and hopefully get a few trades. Question in the chat. Marshall, you're welcome. I was glad I reviewed GRT. Okay, I'm sorting by the average low to SMA. This is a 24-hour low, and the SMA line's that pink line you see between the Bollinger Bands. I'm usually looking for 4% or higher. That indicates the coin's moving. So I was looking at this liquidity, which I've never seen before. I think I've seen it in a list like this before, but I hadn't looked at a chart. We already looked at a spot trade, so let's do something we can trade both directions. CeeLo, we can look at that one. Okay, looking kind of squeezy here. just a little 1.25% between the Bollinger Bands. That just means this is kind of going like this. It's not really useful to us. So again, we're going to set some alerts and wait for some better action. The green zone alert would be here at about 54 cents. And you know the rest from there. However, if you like where it is, it has hit this red zone 3 times. Actually 4 if you count this this wick. So you might want to short this now. Not financial advice, but it's sort of set up for a dip and a short, I think, at least on the 5-minute chart. On the 15, it's less persuasive on the 15 because our red zone's way up here, above 60 cents, and we haven't seen that since Sunday morning. So I might go ahead and move forward with my indicator alerts. On the RTI, it's kind of hanging in the middle at the moment, so I would probably just do the alerts that I've been doing. Enter a channel for dip trades and pump trades, exiting a channel for trend trades. So, and then look at your cumulative delta or TTM squeeze or whatever you want to use for confirmation. If you're going the trend direction, or if it's a dip or a pump and it's starting to go the other way, I'll look at those for confirmation. Okay, any questions on CeeLo? Well, that's about all I have. Take a quick look at the chat. Way more chat. Quite a bit more chat entries than usual, but I think I've addressed them all. Yeah. All right.
I've got something for you, CJ.
Okay.
It's a coin that's my favorite lately. It's XRP.
You just want to look at it, or do you have something more specific in mind?
I've loaded up your RTI. I've loaded up your cumulative delta and the volume indicators, and I'm looking at it. And I was wondering if you would pull up the 15-minute and see if you could have predicted that big 6-7% swing that happened last night. Looking at that chart.
Okay. XRP, 15-minute. And then we had the big pump.
Last night, it went up
here.
7% last night, yeah.
Yeah, all the way up to here. So we have back here early in the morning, we have a dip below the 80 and then a pump back up. Confirmation here on the delta. So yeah, I would have gotten in here.
I'm looking at that sunny night at 3 in the morning. Of course, I would have been in bed, but you can see that RTI had a big break above 80. We've got confirmation on the cumulative delta. If you had been up at 3:30 in the morning sunny night, you probably would have jumped on that one, right?
Yeah, probably.
Now, would you? It's crazy. Do you ever set alerts to wake you up in the middle of the night?
I used to. I don't anymore.
Oh man.
I used to trade the RSI a lot, like I'm showing the RTI now, and I left those alerts on overnight, and I would take a trade, go back to sleep, and in the bull market it was great. When the market changed, that didn't work anymore. So I think I was still spot trading then. So
on Sunday Central Time around 5:15 Central, it'd be like 3:15 in the afternoon for you. Again, there was another break above the 80. Do you see confirmation on the cumulative delta there?
No.
It's hard to see, but that big white line, it kind of blocks your
Yeah.
what's going on there, right?
Yeah, and that's 5 p.m. for me. When London time changes, and there's probably a way to get rid of it if you don't want it.
So that's London times. Yeah, I would love to get rid of those white lines.
Or just
They're
put it like really
annoying.
faintly there.
So that would have been another good entry. Well, the RTI showed a good entry, and the volume is the volume indicator is showing a lot of green bars or green.
Click off the reset.
You're not seeing confirmation on cumulative delta there.
Yeah, this area we were looking at earlier. So
Go to the 2 minute or 1 minute.
All right.
all right, that's how Frank does it. He's the one who showed me this. So 2 minute 1700 yesterday. So this is the time you're talking, right? Around, was it 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. or?
Well, I just switched the chart. I'm trying to find my spot again, but yeah.
Yeah, Frank likes to use the cumulative on the shorter time frames. It's probably a good idea. I don't always remember to do that.
Okay, how I look at it is one is the size of the red or green, but also the relative number. If it's more red or more green, or a change in more red to more green, even if the candles are small, that shows me somebody is gradually buying in over time. They're not tipping their hand with a huge order. They're building up a position. So if you go from where about, it says 15, there's some red there, and then all of a sudden it starts to get more green than red, even though they're small. And then eventually they start to get a little bigger and they start angling up.
Yeah.
That's how I call it a change in investor sentiment, where before people were selling, not overwhelmingly, or they'd be big red, but there's a definite change in the number of green versus the amount of red that you see. And then when you start to see the green get a little bigger, that's definitely, they're starting to come in with bigger orders.
Yeah.
And they're buying on the ask. They're aggressive buyers.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, there's a few ways you can interpret it and use this data. I'm a little more simplistic. I want to see the trend going up in the color that I want. And when I see that, then I'm inclined to get in.
Well, when you see a big green candle, switch back to a 1 or 2 minute and just see if it looks like money was coming in on the 1 or 2, and it gives you more confidence to go with that first big green one.
Yeah.
If you didn't see that, you might think somebody's playing games there with that big green candle.
Yeah. Well, like last night at about 5 a.m, there was a big break above 80, and you see a nice big green candle there on the 2 minute chart, but then it's a lot of red candles going down right after that. But then if you stayed in that trade, you would have got this big pump.
Right,
today.
but you stay in because you're above the 50% or the 80 or whatever line you're using that tells you you're still in an uptrend.
Yeah.
So the white line on the cumulative delta is that just the moving average line?
Well, yeah.
This one. Yeah. Something like that. I don't really pay attention to it, but
I don't pay a
Thing
lot
is-
of attention either.
The thing is, I've been all about auto trading, but I've decided I need to become a better manual trader. I've invested 2 years in auto trading and charts and indicators and strategies, but I think I need to get better at this manual stuff.
Well, it's how a lot of people start. Obviously you and I are in the same group, so I know what you're talking about, but the fundamentals are with manual trading first, and then if you can automate something like this, that's pretty cool to do. And I've automated a lot of my trading, but certainly not all of it. So that's a chat for another time. So at this point,
Yeah, I just see
we're,
other people having great success with manual, and I feel like I'm missing out.
yeah, well, I think it's good to do both. So
Yeah.
well, guys, we're at about 40 minutes. This is usually about where I like to end my Zoom call, unless there's some pressing question.
Great. Thanks, CJ.
All right. Thanks, Oliver, for that, and Frank, and everyone else who contributed. Appreciate you guys. If you're watching on the recording, hope to see you live next time. But check out the opportunities listed in the pinned comment. They help support the channel. I will see you guys again on Friday. Have a good week. Bye.
Thanks. I learned a lot.
Thanks.